Hey everyone, welcome back to Go Kick Me, your favorite crowdfunding news and reviews channel here on YouTube. So today we have a special follow-up video. About a month ago, a little bit over a month ago, I did a review of the iMate combo charger dongle. So this is basically here's the original Indiegogo project that is kind of a USB-C hub that includes an SD card reader, etc., etc. Here you go. It can do HDMI, it can do SD card reading, it can do USB 3.0, 2.0, and USB Type-C, and it even has an Apple Watch charger. So at the time I did this review, I was like, hey, this is like the first product I've actually seen that has a legitimate Apple Watch charger. All the ones I've reviewed, mostly wireless charging pads, they all cheat, and they basically have like a hole that you have to put your existing Apple Watch charger in order to charge next to your wireless charging for your phone, etc., etc. So this one is different, and it actually has like a legitimate one in, and they mention that it's a certified Apple Watch charger. And that is interesting because there basically aren't any of these types of devices on crowdfunding sites. I think I've never seen any, at least. And even when I tried to buy a non-Apple Apple Watch charger, they don't exist, or at least I never found one. So I had to actually buy a second Apple Watch charger from Apple, and it cost me like $30. And so the thought that you could get one, in this case in a hub, was actually pretty interesting, and I almost didn't believe it. So I had some questions about this one. And oh, by the way, they're ending in 4 hours, but don't worry, it's going to be on demand soon. So anyway, I had some questions about that, and then also these guys, they're down here in the bottom somewhere. Where are they? These guys also had a previous campaign on Kickstarter a couple months before this. They got shut down due to violations of Kickstarter's policy. And that was kind of a big red flag, and I was like, buyer beware. Looks like a legitimate product. Still has some question marks about that Apple Watch charger. But the fact that their previous campaign had a suspension, although it was basically due to something from the marketing company in the U.S., that should give you some concern. So anyway, in my video, I did not give a thumbs down or thumbs up. As a product, I think is actually very useful. But as a sort of a Kickstarter campaign, there's some questions, especially given the track record. So I made an appeal. I'm gonna be careful about this, guys. If you are Alex Chan or his Chan or whoever from Hong Kong. I live in Hong Kong. I'm here. If you would like to tell your side of the story through a disinterested third party, I'm happy to interview you. We can do a Skype call. I can meet you in Hong Kong. You can show me the product. If you have one done, I live right next to Shenzhen. I can actually meet you in Shenzhen if you prefer. So anyway, I made the offer, and I even talked about... So, hey, you know what it doesn't... I talk about... I guess those are all good questions to ask. If you do decide to back this guy, you can ask those in the comment section. Probably they'll get answer. To the point. And the other thing is, if you are the iMate people, let me test out your Apple Watch thing and show to everyone that it's legit. Because if you have that, that's like really burying the lead. If you just wrote up here, USB-C dongle that can charge your Apple Watch legitimately and not with some BS sleight of hand to basically trick you into buying it and then realize you have to use your own charger. If that was your title, that would be enough. Wow, this guy's really long-winded. Anyway, long story short, cutting to the chase, get to the point. They actually did contact me, and we actually did meet. So I met Mr. H.S. Chan. Where is he? There he is. We met on Friday, so a day and a half ago. And he showed me the product, walked me through it, showed me actually the prototypes. So this is the 3 colors. They have some, these are working prototypes, and they have, I guess, some initial batch going to the manufacturing right now. So we tested it out. He explained the different design features. You'll notice actually the design has changed a little bit since the original pitch. So the original pitch looked like this, and this one looks like this. So they basically just moved some of the ports around. This is actually because they did testing and found that the SD card is affected by the heat from these two, and especially I guess this is a high power. These two are high power. So they actually showed me, where is it? Yeah, so they did, you can't see very well, but basically they did some heat testing with like an infrared gun and found that when this thing is running some high power devices, it would heat up, so that's why they redid the design. So it's good to see there's some real engineering and testing going on in here. And it's actually the whole thing, meeting the guy and seeing, besides, physically touching this thing and physically seeing that it works, which I'll show you in a second, the fact that I could actually, get some feedback and sort of understand more the processes and sort of the realities of turning an idea, a 3D render into a physical product. What kind of money's involved, like business-wise, how does this work out? What happens after the Kickstarter's over, the Indiegogo's over, like turning this into a product that you can buy in a store, etc. It's actually very interesting. So I'm really glad I got this opportunity, not just to actually see this particular product, but to learn more about it. Let's look at some of the videos. I'm going to pause the sound because there's not really anything interesting going on. So actually there is water here because I had my my drink. We were actually outside and it was like super humid here in Hong Kong in August. So just ignore the water drops. That's from me. That's from the table. But basically, and also sorry about the bad water, but the bad camera work. Yeah, a little bit of water. So anyway, a chance to actually see the real product and touch it. And here's the part I think where I display. This is a part where I show the Apple Watch charger. Let's go ahead and get it on. Here it is. So we also talked about the design and some of the things I liked about the design, I don't like about the design. I don't like that this is so close. I wish it popped out a little bit further. You can see here it's actually charging. And so this is actually running off of his MacBook Pro. So this thing is just acting as a hub, and it's able to charge the watch, which is cool. So it really works. I think you probably want to put it the other way so that this thing isn't touching. It gets a better seat. But yeah, it's really working. And that's actually, that's the proof in the pudding right there. So yeah, it's a real thing. We did talk about the suspension a bit. So from what Mr. Chan explained, basically they'd worked with a marketing company in the U.S. and there was those guys basically screwed up and screwed these guys because their previous campaign. This one is at 67,000, and so maybe you'll get a couple more orders before it ends. But the previous one before it got suspended was at like 100,000. So they really got screwed because not only did they have the black mark of that, but they literally lost $30,000 worth of extra pre-sales. So anyway, besides kind of seeing that as a real person, HS Chan, actually HS is his initials, sort of a mononym or whatever they call it, his Chan. HS Chan and his partners based up in Shenzhen have a real product. It really works. Actually looks pretty decent. It doesn't look like, it's not made out of metal, it's plastic. The prototypes I looked at were pretty beat up, like the printing on the back with the voltage information was kind of scratched up. But it seemed to work. It's a real product. You can physically touch it. As I think I mentioned, I'm not super happy with some of the features of the design. Like I would like it if the little pop-out drawer, where is it, for the Apple Watch was done a little bit differently. It popped out a little bit further, maybe swung out. Because yeah, it is kind of close, right? It's also a little bit wobbly, but hey, you're not hanging from it. It doesn't have to be super stable. But, it really works. It's a real product. I think, I can't say for sure, but I'm going to say probably if you were to back it, you would actually get it. And you'd help be supporting real guys making real products. So let's talk a little bit about the Apple certified charger. So they mention here sort of made for Apple Watch, and they mention that it's actually certified. So I actually did see like the documentation, or at least the digital version of the documentation. They actually are registered. They are registered as a certified customer or whatever. So they had to buy these things directly from Apple, or the Apple certified manufacturer, I should say. They have to show that they're sort of licensed to buy it. That actually costs quite a bit of money from what they showed me. So, there's a reason why Apple stuff is expensive, because anyone who makes it has to jump through lots of hoops and pay to the boss, Mr. Tim Cook. So, just this piece alone definitely makes this product unique, but it also makes it a lot more expensive. Is it worth it? I think it actually is, because it's a differentiator. That's the difference between yet another generic USB-C hub and something that's, really saves you a lot of hassle. So just to talk about the product original thing in itself, it replaces your HDMI hub, it replaces your separate charger, replaces your SD card reader, etc., etc. So, it's not super small, it's not super light, but as a business traveler, if I just had to bring this or just leave it in my suitcase and know that I've got everything covered, I don't even have to bring my AC adapter. That's actually pretty huge. So even if it costs, I think this one, early bird was like 100 something, and late bird is up to 120, 130, and retail price is something going to be in the range of $150 to $200. Even at those prices, if you added up all those components that you're replacing, it's actually getting close to that, right? So you get the convenience, and sometimes on this channel I'm very cheap. I'm like, oh dude, you could probably buy something that does most of this for $50. So why would I pay $100 for it? But especially having talked to the iMate guys and seeing what the real costs are, like how much does it cost to get a license to use the certified Apple pieces in there. Actually, it's many thousands of dollars. If you're going to buy the official Apple charger piece, how many do you have to buy? What's the MOQ to get that little component? Well, let me tell you, it's several thousand. So yeah, several thousand, but they've only sold several hundred, right? So they only had 300 backers. So that means you got to buy, let's say for example, even if it's only 2,000 pieces. Well, so they have to buy 2,000 pieces in order to get it for just the 300 backers. So you can see how the math starts to work out there. So, what's the price of one of those pieces? Let's say, for the sake of argument, it's $20 each. Apple charges you $30 for it. If you want to buy it straight from the wholesaler at the MOQ, it's going to be, say, $20. So now you got to buy, if you have to buy 2,000 of those pieces, that's $40,000 right there. Oh wait, you've only raised $67,000. So just for to be able to have the Apple Watch charger in there, you have to put in tens of thousands of dollars, and you're stuck with a buttload of those extra pieces. So if you sell, if you go on to sell another couple hundred or another couple thousand, you can recoup that money, but that's a lot of upfront money. So in this case, and this is one of the things I asked these guys about, I was like, well, clearly you're not making enough from this to pay for, obviously, development, much less the actual manufacturing costs of these 300 pieces, because, they have to pay for the molds, they got to pay for the other components, MOQs, etc. So in this case, this is one of those cases where Kickstarter is not, whatever, crowdfunding is not going to pay to develop this. It's basically just a marketing tool and a way to collect pre-sales. So it's nice to be able to get the $67,000 before, or at least close to the time that you actually send all this to the factory. One of the issues is their delivery time is September, right? Which is literally, okay, so today when I'm filming this, and I'm going to put this out as soon as possible. It's August 26th, so literally that's next week. So okay, you assume by the end of September they're supposed to have it in people's hands, and basically in 5 weeks. That's probably not going to happen with delivery times included and stuff like that. So they did actually say that they have some initial pressings or whatever from the mold, so who knows, maybe the first 100 pieces or something like that will be ready in a couple weeks. If you lived in this part of the world, you could probably actually get it, say, by October 1st, so technically end of September. I would say it's probably going to take a couple more months before everyone gets it actually physically in their hands, but like I said, pretty likely to actually happen at this point. And so, they've got funding aside from this money, so I think it can actually happen. No guarantees. Obviously, this is crowdfunding. It's not mail order. So, but basically, I touched a physical one. It really works. It's a legitimate person. It's not some kind of huge scam, or if it is, they scam me too, and they appear to make it work. So, I'm not going to say it's going to be the best product ever, but it is a product. So on that note, I will switch my non-thumbs up, my neutral, into a thumbs up for this one, and also say thank you to the iMate team for making the effort to reach out and basically get me in front of this thing to actually see it and touch it. It sucks that they got kind of screwed by their previous marketing company. So for you other crowdfunding people, just really be careful. You do need the help of professional teams, but make sure that the professional team is totally legit, because it's really your reputation that they're going to screw if they screw something up. So make sure it's not the cheapest one, it's the legit one with the good track record. Anyway, so that's it for today. I can't believe I talked another 16 minutes about one product. But anyway, I just wanted to share that. It's a legit product. Check it out. It should be on demand by the time you guys see this. Okay, so that's it for today. See you guys next time. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter at GoKickMe and GoKickMedia.com. Okay, bye.